consider their ways and be wise. And then apart from that, another principle is that we must first of all save to be rich towards God. A story was told in the Bible in Luke chapter 12 of that rich man whose land brought forth plentifully. And he had so much in store to the point that he said to himself, "My soul, have your rest. You have saved so much. Just be merry, be happy." And that particular night, God pronounced judgment upon him that he is a fool. And the Bible says, "So is he that stored up riches unto himself and is not rich towards God." And so your soul will have to first prosper before other prosperity is being considered. Because one problem with gathering riches that is tangible is that it can dissipate, it can just disappear overnight. Fire can just come from nowhere and consume everything. But how you save it online or wherever, something can just happen and everything will just crumble. But when your soul is made to be rich towards God, it follows you. That was what happened to Isaac. He was in a land where there was famine. Everybody was hungry. But we were told that Isaac sowed in that land and he reaped hundredfold because there's that soul's prosperity in him. It follows him wherever he goes. So the principle is adopt the principle of Jesus Christ, adopt the principle of Joseph. Go to the hands and learn their ways. And then you must first of all prosper in your soul and in your relationship towards God. Lay up treasures that is favorable to God. Invest in church projects. Pay your tithes. And then there's that, which is a principle, the natural principle. That blessings comes upon you. And then wherever you go to, it follows you.
From the story of Jacob and Esau, I think there's something we need to learn from that story. There was an emergency. The father called, "I want to bless you." And the condition for it is that bring my favorite meal and I will bless you. Now, the question is, what is Esau looking for in the bush when he can get it at the back of his house? And that's exactly what happens to most people. It is when they enter into trouble that they will start looking for money. Now, Esau had to go to the bush to look for the same meat that Jacob prepared right in his own house. So as a Christian, we need to balance the equation. We have the natural factor, we have the supernatural factor. And the natural factor, if you don't put it in place by disciplining yourself to save a little out of what you have, forget about the supernatural. Because the super will remain super without the natural, and the natural will remain natural without the super. So as a Christian, we need to live a balanced life. As you are crying to God for supernatural assistance, you tender your own natural. Then God will add the super to it. And also, I learned from the story of the widow. Because if you look at that story very well, the reason why there was no rain in the land was because of the proclamation of one man, which is Elijah. And what he said, "By my word, rain will not fall." And what happened? Rain did not fall. Now, do you know that Elijah made a mistake? What was the mistake? He made a proclamation that rain will not fall. And when rain ceased, what happened to him? He became lack. He did not save before praying to God that God should stop rain. And when he made the proclamation, rain stopped and he started looking for food. And God had to step in and say, "Okay, let me use a raven to sustain you. To feed you." That was what the Bible said, to feed you. And the time came, God said, "Okay, go to so land. There is a widow that I've prepared for you." Now the question is, that widow, how did he get what Elijah was looking for? Because he had saved. And if you should look at the society today, one of the people that are disadvantaged they are the widows. Why? Because by the time their husband died, probably nobody pray or plan for his or her partner to die, we should know that that one is an emergency or an unforeseen circumstances. Now, that woman was a widow, and rain did not fall for a period of 2.5 years before Elijah came. Now, when Elijah met with that widow, he asked her, get me water to drink. Now, where there is no rain, where did she get the water from? She has been saving water. And when, as at the time that she was going to get the food for, the water for Elijah, I said, okay, don't bring only water, please add food on top her. And what happened? She now said, this is the last thing I'm having at Tobu. I just want to prepare it for me and my child to eat, and after that we die. And he said, don't worry, bring it. And he brought it. Now, if that woman that has no help, no assistance can do that, how much more we Christians?
Okay, for our final question, we've been talking about saving. How can we save? Should I just open an account? Since you said it should be an account that is not easily accessible.
Yes,
Should I just
yes.
open an account, drop the money there, and then abandon it and keep adding money there, so that when I need it in the future, I can just run back to it? Or is there a place where I can invest my money into, so that it will come back to me in 2 folds, 4 folds, or stuff like that in the future? Pastor Dan.
Yeah. Savings and investments, they are two different things. Number one, savings is money that is set aside for a purpose, while investment is the money you sent on an errand for a return. And you can't invest without first saving. It is out of the money that you save that you can invest. So the first thing you need to put in place is that you save. Then after that, you look for areas, or you look for sectors that you can actually invest into. The issue of investment, well, if I may answer that question correctly, I think the first place you need to invest into is to invest into yourself. That is through personal development. Because by the time you invest in yourself, you develop your skill, then you can use your resources to finance the skill. But if you are not skillful and you have the resources will remain dormant. And if you have the resources and you don't have the skill, there's every possibility that you will lose your resources. So the first thing you need to do is that you have to develop yourself personally. And there was a time I was listening to the richest man in Africa. That's the person of Alhaji Aliko Dangote. And he was asked the same question. And when he was answering the question, he said, life is actually evolving. And if you don't follow the trend, you'll be outdated. And he said, currently now, there are two major sectors that are booming and that are always active. He said, number one, the agriculture sector. Then number two, he said ICT. So as a young guy, look into agriculture sector and look into ICT. Now, I would like to summarize it in this way. There is three basic aspects of human life that no matter your class, you must cater for these three aspects of life. Number one, we have the clothing. No matter how poor you are, you must put on a cloth. Even a madman wears a cloth. Number two, food. No matter how poor a man is, you must eat. And number three, shelter. You must have a house on your head. Those three sectors, clothing, agriculture, feeding, that is feeding, and shelter, you can actually deploy your resources into one of those sectors. And when you are deploying your resources, make sure that you deploy your resources into a place whereby you are very sure of. Just like I said, you need to be skillful before you deploy your resources. Because if you are not skillful, you will waste your resources. So develop your skill and make use of your resources in that skill. Thank you.
In addition to what our beloved pastor mentioned, first saving in yourself by personal development, acquiring skills, and all that. There are other platforms for savings and investment out there, like maybe buying shares, buying stocks in bank, investing in estate management, buying land. Even in the savings, there are various ways you can save. You can save your money in fixed deposits that operates on maybe compound interest. If you save this year and maybe the interest is 5% per annum, by the time this year is over, both the interest and the amount you invested will now be used as the capital for the following year. So you discover that in the long run, over the years, you become a millionaire. And then apart from that, you can equally save in some savings that promises to give you maybe like 20% increase per annum. That one seems to be much safer. But there are other investment or savings platform out there that says you save 20,000, you'll be getting 50,000. Please, I want you to be cautious of that because it is too good to be true. Thank you.
Okay, so I want you to anticipate for the second episode of Gospel Diaries. We'll be coming in with more interesting topics. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mommy, for your time. And thank you for explaining extensively. I think I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our viewers will learn a lot also. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.